Welcome back, everyone. The COVID pandemic was no doubt one of the most important reassessment points of the 21st century. We look back and see how much we learned, how much technology helped us, and how, as a society, our values and priorities shifted. From a manufacturing perspective, the pandemic showed us there really wasn't an American supply chain. That's why back in 2020, the Presidential Task Force called on the Swainsboro t-shirt company, America Knits, to abandon their products and start producing massive amounts of PPE. The team there rose to the challenge, even working out a 24-hour operation because of social distancing during COVID. The next year, Governor Brian Kemp recognized America Knits President Steve Hawkins in his State of the State address for his willingness to promote the Georgia-made concept. That led to an idea for a Georgia-grown brand of apparel called Seeds to Seams.
As a result of the pandemic and the making the PPE supplies, the state of Georgia and an initiative called Field to Closets approached us, and they wanted to make scrubs for 17 different rural hospitals in Georgia.
They wanted Hawkins to create a Georgia supply chain, and he had the industry contacts to make that happen. His primary question was, could they use Georgia cotton?
And they were like, yeah, there's plenty of great cotton in Georgia. I knew I drive through cotton all the time. Yeah. I just didn't know what characteristics it had and if it would be suitable for our needs.
That launched a whole new thought process.
We developed a supply chain, and then at that point, we're like, let's adapt this to t-shirts.
And it hasn't traveled more than 240 miles.
The average t-shirt travels over 17,000 miles. That's the average t-shirt that an American is wearing today. Ours travels 238 miles as the crow flies, and that's the reason the crow is our icon.
So sustainability is a big part of what your mission is.
I think that's the biggest story. Seeds to Seams, yeah, it's a great fit. Yeah, it's soft cotton, it's beautiful. But the sustainability part, the young people, I think, care about. And if they understand our message, I think it'll resonate with them.
And while you may not have heard of Seeds to Seams yet, you certainly recognize the other brands of t-shirts, the big names, that are America Knits customers. But here's a little secret.
Our fabric is better than theirs. Theirs is carded ring spun. That's a little cheaper yarn. Ours is combed ring spun.
And why does combed ring spun matter? Hawkins says it's what makes his product different. It all starts with the cotton.
The best fabrics are always combed ring spun yarn. That's what you start with. The Georgia cotton meets those characteristics. The fabric has to be the best. We also think the weight of our t-shirts is the perfect weight. It looks good on fit people, and it looks good on people that maybe not as fit as others.
The same quality goes for their fleece sweatshirts.
It's also 100% cotton, which you don't usually see, but once again, we are all about cotton because cotton's healthier. Our fleece is pre-tumbled so that the shrinkage is taken out before we ever spread it on the automated spreading that we have.
And this is what Hawkins wants you to remember about Seeds to Seams. From the cotton grown right here in Georgia dirt, all the way to the finished product. Everything about this shirt represents sustainability, and that's the mission of Seeds to Seams. Even when the customer's requests may seem counterintuitive, like those who want something made from, gasp, polyester.
They're actually coming out now with some studies to where polyester is actually harmful because it's made out of petroleum. So that against your skin, who knows in years to come what that might do to you. We think polyester is a four-letter word, to be honest. We don't like to use it. We're all about cotton. But if somebody's insistent and for whatever end reason they need it, then we're going to offer them a recycled plastic drinking bottles into polyester so that at least we're staying with our mission.
A mission that once again comes down to one word: sustainability.
I think we are the most sustainable shirt sold in America. And I'll tell you the reason why. There are sewing factories in California, but there's no yarn spun in California. All the yarn is spun in the Southeast. So there's no way they can be but so sustainable because the yarn has to be either shipped from the Far East or from North Carolina to California. And there's 2,500 miles or so right there. So we have such an advantage being in this part of the country. Nobody can be as sustainable as us unless they open a plant in the South.
The Seeds to Seams brand is made at America Knits in Swainsboro from cotton grown at Davis Family Farms in Doe Run, Georgia, and Lee Family Farms in Moultrie, Georgia. For more information about the company's sustainable clothing, just look for this story on our website, WJBF.com.